Hello, Internet Nation. Alexander here. And I was just thinking about something that I want to talk about, I guess. So every now and then, I catch a glimpse of my reflection in the mirror. And sometimes it's all like, oh, yes, that's a goddess, obviously, clearly. And other times, I see my mom's face and I get it's kind of like a jump scare. And that always feels so weird to me. Like, it's not like I think my mom is ugly or anything. I have no feelings on my mom's attractiveness because that's my mom. I don't know, I'm just so used to seeing her. But I do find that she looks a little angry. Like, resting bitch face. You know? And I feel like there was a change in my face at some point from I don't know when. It just felt like at some point I started seeing more of my mom than myself or my dad. And I didn't really like that. So, yeah, I guess the first question to ask would be what would be so bad about looking like my mom? It's not illogical. It just makes me sad, I guess. Because I want to look like myself. And I feel like I spend so much time trying not to follow in my mom's footsteps. I was gonna say something, but then the words left my brain. But yeah, if I don't want to be like her. I don't want to live the life that she lives because it makes me sad. I would like a long-term partner and a not so lonely life. Even though, granted, that's exactly where I am right now. I wonder if that's why I always see her face and I feel so jarred, because it feels like I'm stuck in a cycle of trying to survive and not actually living. And then, I don't know, that's how it feels that she's living. Though I'm sure she would say that she's happy. She does say that she's happy. I just don't want that for me because it seems lonely and sad. And I don't want to work as hard as she does because that doesn't seem fulfilling, to be working for somebody else's dream. You know? And I guess it's jarring to see her face because I always feel like I'm not doing everything I could to not be like that. I mean, outside of, well, not even outside of the job market, because I feel like there are things that I could succeed at. I just either don't, due to holding myself back out of fear, or because I'm always overwhelmed and I just want to relax, or not knowing how to do things, I guess. But I don't know, I guess at the end of the day that's just an excuse, maybe. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just saying what comes to mind. But I don't know, it's weird to me how much that affects my self-esteem. Is that the right word? How much it affects my view of myself, because I don't want to be like her. And I mean, what would be so bad if I was? Which I guess that would mean leaning more into that dominant side. But I don't want to be dominant. And I don't want to have a partner that I need to puppeteer, if I had an editor, this is the part where they would like insert a clip of me from like earlier today saying I should probably just get a partner, I should puppeteer. But I don't want that, you know? I don't want somebody that has to be told what to do and has to be told how to love someone, has to be told to put in the effort to like make somebody feel special. I don't want a bottom bitch. You know, like an actual bottom bitch would be nice, but not like a bottom who is also a bitch, and because they're so insecure about it, they try to dominate you from under you, even though I'm just realizing I had one of those, even though technically I just saw him as a friend. But he definitely didn't just see me as a friend. And as my dom, he was always trying to, like, play the role of the little. Well, that's my job. I'm the little. You know, you can't be the daddy and then be, like, the one demanding the cuddles. You know? It's just a good way to get into an abusive situation. And I'm not looking for an abusive situation. I'm looking for genuine love. So I guess the next step would be figure out how to get over it being so jarring to see her face. I could just accept it. I don't know. I feel like certain things are so much harder to just accept and move on from. Like feelings. Like it's so easy to just accept a situation that's happening. But I also think that's on trauma and not really processing things as they happen and just trying to like get through things. I don't know. It's so hard being emotionally stunted and then told by everybody that you're manipulative because you're expressing your feelings. It makes it hard to trust your feelings and to just feel how you feel and not just assume that you're being manipulative because you're feeling something and want somebody to care. But accepting it would mean that sometimes I look a little angry, I guess. I think the main problem is that it doesn't feel like me. Because, like, I think even that stems back to this joke I always make about how my dad gave me my personality, but my mom gave me my trauma. Where it's just like, there are so many negative parts of my personality and of me that I associate with behavior that I learned from her or learned to adapt because of her. So to see her in myself makes me feel like I'm not, like I'm still, like it's still 2014 and I'm still making the decision that today's the day I'm going to live more authentically myself. I guess that could be a solution. Maybe because, like, long-term changes are hard to commit to, but, like, every day I could make choices that are aligned with myself and feel aligned with myself and who I am as a person, and not what I would think my mom would want me to be. I always say that, like, I'll be able to be myself once my mom is dead, because she's the only person that really, like, judges me. She would tell me all the time that people weren't gonna like me and that I was weird and different and that people were gonna make fun of me and that people were gonna try and hurt me and kidnap me and all this stuff. And I have this deep-seated anxiety and paranoia that exist when I'm out in the world and engaging with people, because you see a lot of negativity, and then you have this voice in your head saying that all these bad things are gonna happen. But like, it's her voice, and as much as I try to quiet her voice and not care about how she feels, because like at the end of the day, if somebody isn't really in your life and you don't really talk to them and they don't really talk to you because they need you to talk to them first, even though like I didn't choose to be here, so I don't have to choose to reach out all the time, you know? These phone things, they work two ways. It's kind of a two-way communication, especially when you have somebody growing up in isolation. It's a lot harder for them to reach out to others because they have such bad experiences with reaching out to people. But who are we to take responsibility for the life we create and the trauma we have instilled, you know? Anyway, what was I saying? But yeah, there's a lot of trauma there that I don't want to associate with myself or as myself. I don't know, life is so full of dualities where it's just like, do I fully abandon that? And I mean, I guess I could try to live like she was dead, even though, I mean, I would have an apartment, even though I can't pay for it right now, but I would still have an apartment and not have to worry about living with people and housing situations and all this nonsense. Just a little bit of nonsense. But anyway, I don't know if I should fully commit or just accept. I don't know, I guess I could do both. Just because there's a lot of duality in life doesn't mean that you can't do multiple things, because the whole concept of life being dualistic is that you have the option to do anything you want at any given time, and as humans we are complex enough to contradict ourselves, so I guess it's okay to commit and let go. I don't know, I have a really hard time letting go of things in general, so emotional stuff is just really hard to let go of. But I don't know, also I really like my face. It's like certain angles, it just really be hitting. And I don't like seeing other people's face and my face because it still doesn't feel like my body. Maybe that's why. Maybe the connection I have to my mom and her thoughts and expectations is why it doesn't feel like it's truly my body. And I just feel like, I don't know, I feel like I'm just going through the motions. At this point, I don't really know why I'm alive or what reason I have to be alive. It feels like I don't really have a reason, and like I'm just kind of floating through space, being tortured in various different situations. But I don't know. I mean, not that life has an inherent reason. I just would like to feel like I have a connection. Couldn't even say it. I just want to feel like I have a connection to this planet, especially one to the people, because it kind of sucks not having a connection to the people, but then having to deal with the people, because I gotta go out and have everybody on the street try to like walk into me, and people in my DMs hitting on me because my physical form is conventionally attractive to them, referring to me in a manner that makes me feel uncomfortable. And you can't just go out and enjoy things, you know? Like, literally, I have been here at this apartment for 2 days, 2 nights, 2 days, 2 nights, 3 days. I don't know. I've been here for a few days, for a little bit, and it's been frustrating how many times the bathroom is occupied. I went to the store on Sunday to get food, and that was the only time I left the house. I almost got hit by a car while crossing the street. I had the light and everything, and like, I turned my head to the left and I see this car coming to a hard stop because they almost fucking hit me because they were making the tightest turn, like so tight that if somebody was sitting on the curb in the two-way traffic, they would have ran right into this person's bumper. But instead of them almost running into a bumper, they almost fully fledged ran into me. And then, what was it, today? I almost ran into some lady because, like, you know, unlike the situation in which I was blindsided, because as I turned my head to the left, there was a car about a foot away from me about to hit me. And I froze because, you know, fight or flight, and usually when things are about to collide with me, I come to a hard stop, because usually it means my trajectory and another person's trajectory are aligned in a way where they're dumb motherfuckers. So of course, I have to come to a stop because I'm too petty and I'm trying to be better than the people, than the monsters around me. Because when I go bad, when I stop being so neutrally gray, I will start shoving motherfuckers. Because why are you so fucking stupid and blind? Do you know how much some people are dying to have good eyesight? And here you are, ignoring the world around you to run into people. So I just want to shove motherfuckers. So usually I stop because I'm not trying to shove motherfuckers. It's even worse when they stop in front of me. So it's like, you walked into my path to stop here. Why should I not shove you? Why should I not 1,000 years of death you right here, right now, you dumbass motherfucker? But anyway. So this lady saw me coming on my bike. She turned around because for some reason people always sense my presence and they have to stop what they're doing to turn around and look at me no matter what they're doing. She was pushing a cart or something, and she was a good 20 feet away. But she proceeded to stop and stay still and look at me as I was, I believe I was turning my bike onto the curb. I just came onto the curb because I was gonna tie my bike up to a pole to go into a store. And instead of just casually continuing to walk, she decided to stop next to the pole to watch me dismount my bike and didn't really start moving again until I had passed her on my bike. There's always something, always an individual putting themselves in the way. And I just don't enjoy it. And like, at the very least, my mom has had the same best friend for the entirety of my life. And as far as I know, they talk frequently. My mom has 10 siblings, and she's very close to them, to the point where like she talks to them all the time, and like some of them come to visit her sometimes and spend time with her, and then she spends time with them. And it's like, I would like to be closer to my family, but there's just something about people going, hey, can you call me? Hey, how come I never hear from you? Where it's like, that's your response to me messaging you? Like, I already have social anxiety and I don't like talking on the phone. Do you always have to make it a point that I was raised in isolation? Like, do you have to rub that in my face? Because, like, unlike some of y'all that had places to go, people to be with, I was living in isolation with a sister that resented me because she had to raise me, a mom that wanted nothing to do with me, and my dad only had weekend custody. Meanwhile, my mom was talking hella shit about him. You know? So it's like, it's not like... Plus, at the age of like 5, I realized that I couldn't have friendships because my friendships were reliant on my mom's friendships. And like, what's the fucking point? Because most of my mom's friends don't even have kids my age, let alone kids that I get along with and like go to school with and will actually spend time with outside of us going to their house. How did I get here? This was a rant about not wanting to look like my mom. But that's another thing, because, like, I take motherhood really seriously, and it always really hurt me that she was mistreating me to the point where it's like she almost lost me a few years ago. Like, I had told her that I just don't want her in my life because, you know, I'm an adult now. So I don't have to stand around and be emotionally, mentally, and verbally abused, you know? I could just go elsewhere. Like, being homeless would be better than that, you know? Like, I could literally go live with my dad some shit. So it's like, that's not an option. Then it's like, I'm never going to talk to you again because every time I talk to you, you always have negative things to say and you always want to bring me down. But then she changed after that. But now it's just a case of, just because she's changed, does that mean she's changed enough for me to have her around my children who are going to have actual autonomy over their lives? And I know she's not going to like that because having autonomy means you dress yourself and you do what you want to do and you live your life the way you want to live without being turned into a little robot or a doll that just sits in a corner and pretends to not exist so that they don't get yelled at because they were doing shit that kids do in the confines that you put them in. Like, it's crazy work to, like, tell a child that they can't do anything and have to stay within the confines of your world. And then when they do things that kids do while unsupervised and not educated of anything, they just get yelled at. Me thinking about the trauma of that one time I tried to, like, put a little Lego house on top of a light, I think to warm up the pieces or something, or to warm up the house, and it caused a fire. And then the fire department came, and I got chewed out for that. But, like, I was a kid. Nobody told me that light generates heat, and then that heat, when, like, put into plastic, can cause melting, which can cause fumes to be released, which can also cause fire. Nobody told me that, you know? And you usually don't tend to learn these things outside of firsthand experience when nobody is talking to you or teaching you anything or engaging with you or helping you explore. That was my dad's jurisdiction and he only had weekend custody. And then even that's something, because then after my stepmom came into the picture, he changed. And then I didn't want to go over there anymore, and then he didn't pick me up as much, and I didn't mind that because I didn't want to go over there, because then that meant being forced to eat nasty foods that I didn't like, that weren't even made correctly, and then go to church and wear clothes I wasn't comfortable in that didn't even fit, which is stupid. There's, like, how do people not, like, how is it better to send a kid to church in, like, a tight fitting skirt? Like, that skirt was so tight, and then it had a slit going up it, and because it was so tight on me, the slit was basically right under my ass, and it's like, in trying to get me to fit your Christian beliefs, you've now sexualized me beyond belief. But I digress. This isn't about the trauma inflicted to me from my dad. We're talking about my mom here. Well, I guess that is kind of trauma inflicted to me by my mom, my second mom, but it's not her face. I see in the mirror. I might enjoy seeing her face more because my second mom is like a total Linda from Bob's Burgers, and that is what I strive to be as a mother and a wife. You know, she's very her, so I would probably feel like I was doing better in life if I was seeing her face in my face. Might feel like I was doing better in life if I was seeing my dad's face in my face again. Or at the very least, if I could just look in the mirror and just see me. You know, maybe. It's not my mom's face I'm actually seeing. Maybe I just have resting bitch face, and my resting bitch face makes me think of my mom's face. And then because it's just so like disappointed looking, I get triggered because the look of no expression on my face reminds me of my mom being mad at me. And then maybe that's why it's so jarring. So it's not really like the issue is that I look like her. The issue is that I look like her when she's mad at me, which is like a whole other can of worms because it's just my face. I don't really be upset. I just be like existing, and that's just how my face looks at the moment. But I don't know. I get different emotions depending on the angle of my face that I get. Like this, not a flattering angle, but like this mirror right here, right in front of me, well, when I'm looking at it straight on, I feel is my best angle. I don't like looking up at my face. I like looking down, but I think that's perversion. Me liking to look down on my face. It makes my eyes look bigger, and I look more innocent and childlike. All the more better to manipulate you. Oh God, you see, that's why I always find it so frustrating when people call me manipulative, because it's like you're never calling me manipulative because you think I'm manipulative. Because if that were the case, then you wouldn't even be surprised because I told you that, nigga. I told you that. As a motherfucker. I just try constantly to not manipulate people, but I have a very high tendency of being manipulative, of actively being manipulative when I don't get my way and something means something to me. Like, you know, if I'm in a relationship that doesn't mean anything, I'm just gonna leave. But if I care about you and I don't want to leave, I'm probably going to try and manipulate you to get the results that I want. You know, if I'm feeling unconfident, I might be a little manipulative in order to get my way, but I'm very open about it. And if anybody were to call me out on my manipulative behavior, then I would be like, yeah, totally. People don't call me out on being manipulative. People say that I'm being manipulative when I want them to care about my feelings, or when I tell them that they've hurt me with their actions, or I don't know, like when I cry. That was a big one when I was a kid. Boyfriends always used to tell me I was being manipulative when I cried. But the fact of that matter is that I've had a lot of toxic relationships, borderline abusive, one might say. Yeah, borderline abusive. Yeah, it was a fun experience joining TPP and learning how to express my feelings and feel things and what is and isn't okay, and then having to process, oh, you know, coercion is a type of rape, you know? So like all those times that I was coerced into sex, that was rape. All those times that I wasn't allowed to leave the room until I said yes, so I just said yes and then blocked that out. Rape. The extra fun part was telling the guy that had happened with that, hey, are you aware that was rape? And then he got mad at me for accusing him of raping me those times that he demanded sex from me and wouldn't let me leave his house until I gave him the sex. And or honestly, I wonder, like, I just brought the coercion case up to him. I wonder how he would feel if I was like, hey, remember that time that you and your homeboy kind of like pinned me down and then like groped me? Do you think he would acknowledge that that was a sexual assault? I don't think so, because boys will be boys. Never men, always boys. There's this gunk on the side of my sheet. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's just the shock of like being disappointed in myself, or thinking that I am, or thinking that somebody in general is disappointed in me. I don't like it when people are disappointed in me. I have a huge fear of letting people down and people being mad at me. But it's also kind of juxtaposed with the fact that I don't feel close enough to anyone for their abandonment to really mean anything. So it kind of creates this like weird paradox of being afraid that people are upset with me, even though there's no logical reason for me to care. I guess it's just the trauma of my mom always being upset with me because I existed, and then projecting that onto everything, including my face. That's a deep one. I'm not crying. I just have oil in my eyes, I think. Or maybe it's from like staring at the phone in this corner specifically because it's really dark. It's really dark in here in general because like there's no light, there's no ceiling light, there's no light bulbs in the ceiling because I didn't put any light bulbs in the chandelier because they kept blowing out. So I just had a light bulb on a string that I would plug in to an extension cord when I needed light. And I took that with me with the initial stuff. And the only thing that was left here is a studio light, which does not light the room very well, and a UV light for my plants that I left here because it didn't seem necessary to prioritize that. Also, I thought it got packed because I saw my friend like finagling it. So I thought he had put it with some stuff and taken it to the van. But he didn't. That's okay though, because where I'm staying has a backyard, so that's where I leave my plants. So, you know, they get sunlight now and I don't have to worry about somebody throwing them away, maybe. I don't know. It's a weird situation because it's a shared backyard. But I feel like there's so many random things back there that nobody's really going to be bothered by an obvious plant, you know? I mean, they might steal my rolling tray and my ashtray that I left back there, but that's okay. I got those from my ex, and I'm not really attached to them. The only thing I would want the tray for is because I want to make a mold of it so I can make one-piece rolling trays. You know? Because, like, if I'm going to have a rolling tray, I might as well have a one-piece rolling tray over a Rick and Morty rolling tray because then it would mean more to me. Also, I don't like having a thing that makes me think about my ex every time I look at it. You know, especially since I'm trying to forget my ex and hopefully have him not call me every few months. Anyway, maybe when I look at my face, all my sadness comes up. Because I would always say that I would prefer to be adopted than abused by the person that made me. You know, because then at least then I could say, well, I don't know. You can't really say that you're not unwanted by the person that made you if they gave you up for adoption. You see, another solution. Another problem that would have been solved if she had just died. I'm joking. I don't want her to die. She's her own person, I guess. That sounds selfish of me to say. Selfish against me. For me to justify her actions. The whole, she's just a girl bullshit. This is her first time living life and being a person, so you can't really hold all that yada yada yada. Yeah, sure, I guess, but now I'm highly traumatized, and instead of helping me with that, I gotta deal with the how come you never call me's from everybody. Why is everybody in the family like that? Nobody calls me. The most they will do is text me to call them. And I'm just like, why? The person that puts in the most effort right now is my stepmom, which is funny because she's always been in the lead. She's the least related to me of everyone that I talk to. Of all my family, she is the least related to me because she does not have a drop of shared blood in her body with me. And yet she has been the best mom figure because she has repped for me my whole life like I was a piece of shit the entirety of the time up until like my 20s when I realized that she was my biggest fan and I should stop being a little hater bitch that was mad because I felt like my dad was replacing me when like he never did that. And I'm pretty sure it's my stepmom that like has him be a better dad at times because I'm pretty sure he wouldn't call me on my birthdays if it wasn't for her. And like literally she's been my biggest fan and has always repped for me and has always told everybody that I was her child and her firstborn, and she always introduces me as her oldest daughter and all this shit, you know? Like I still remember the day I called her mom for the first time. She was so fucking giddy. She literally called me when I was in class like a few weeks ago, and she was just like, I saw pictures of you and I was just thinking of you, so I just wanted to check in. And I'm like, wow. Why is she the one doing this? Why is she the only one that goes, I was thinking of you, so I called you? Why is she the only one? Why is she the only one? Everybody else, the ones that made me, the people older than me, they all go, how come I never hear from you? I don't know, maybe because you don't reach out to me. Maybe that's why. But anyway, that's why I rep for her now. I can't vouch for the cooking, but that's why I rep for her now. Anyway. So I guess I'll meditate on that tonight. I've been falling asleep to YouTube videos for, I don't know, I guess just while I've been here. Because I've noticed that there's a lot more anxiety and tension in me when I'm here. I don't know if that's because I just don't want to interact with people, and there's so many people that are always so active, and it's just kind of like, yeah, I said that I was leaving and I came back because these people are driving me crazy. But also there's just so much stuff that I need to like conglomerate. I had to get rid of the dog cage and a whole bunch of stuff that I'm not bringing with me because there's no reason for it, and I don't even have like moderate space for that stuff. Plus, like, I haven't brought a dog here in the longest time, or a cat, honestly, but even a cat could fit in the Ferret Nation cage. Can't be calling it Cthulhu's cage anymore, because, I mean, I guess I could, because it's still her cage until I get someone new to be in there. But being here just makes me feel tense. The only thing I can really do is sleep, which is what I mostly came here to do, because sleep is important and you should get enough sleep. It's really hard when you have insomnia and are a light sleeper. Like, well, I don't know if I would consider myself a light sleeper. I'm a very aware sleeper. So like I probably can sleep through a significant amount of noise as long as it doesn't like, you know, punch you in the face. Like it doesn't like an ambulance doesn't start going off next to me or some shit, you know? But I will also wake up if you think about coming into my room, which is not a fun situation to be in when you're in a living room and people have to walk through the living room to get to the bathroom. Which even that's not fun because the bathroom light screams. So I'm woken up and then the screaming starts, and If the screaming continues with the door open, I'm not falling asleep for a while because I'm just going to be stressed out. But if the door closes and the screaming is muffled, then I might fall asleep again. And I tend to fall asleep really quickly if I'm not uncomfortable. But that hasn't really been happening now. No, usually I wake up and I stay uncomfortable. But I've been waking up a lot because there's so much going on. And the couch sucks. It's too short for me. And it's lumpy. It's very lumpy. I'm really tempted to like put my mattress on top of it. So that would be less lumpy. But then that's just more things to move about. I don't know. I hope this house situation goes well and transpires well. If the daemon can work to make my arch enemies' lives better and happier, then the daemon can work to make my life better because they're my daemon and they like me more. Favoritism, yay. If anyone's opposed to me being a fucking narcissist and indulging my favoritism, feel free to knock something down. See? They agree. Favoritism. But speaking of knock things down, I need to fix this box. Maybe there's like a box of stuff sitting on a board precariously, but the box is like falling. I think it's being held in place by a giant lapras and the window. But if it were to fall, it could potentially kill me if it's heavy. I think it's a heavy box. It could potentially kill me if it lands on my head, especially when I'm sleeping. Even though, honestly, is that so bad? I could go for a little death right now. Like, I'm not really doing anything. I don't really have a place right now. All my stuff is in boxes, so it's easy to dispose of. I could go for a little death right now. That would be great. But instead of a little death... Oh, I saw a centipede. Instead of a little death, I'm just gonna have un petit sleep. It just freaked me the fuck out. My camera was just like... And it looked like there was movement over here. But alas, that's just the... It looked like the bags were moving. You can see Solemn from here. Solemn's in that bag. That's the underside of Solemn. Solemn herself takes up almost an entire bag, which is unacceptable. She should take up the entire bag. She is a big girl that I need to make bigger. I need to make a bigger version and a smaller version. It shall happen after I'm settled. I don't know. I guess I'll hold out till the weekend and see how the housing situation is gonna go. I'm gonna see if it's totally hopeless. And I don't know, maybe I'll jump off something. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Just a little bit. You never know. I'm not feeling this life thing right now. Maybe a little coma. A coma would be nice. Anyway, we're off topic now. So, my brain is thinking about Dunkin' Donuts now. I miss having the job that I had, because at the very least, it was some semblance of income coming in, and like it wasn't enough to pay rent, but if I had that income now, I would be able to get snacks when I go to class, and that would be great. And I wouldn't have to deal with the frustration of feeling like I'm slowly starving to death. At the very least. But soon. I don't know what's gonna happen, but something has to happen. Yeah, maybe I will get over the negative traits that I feel like I got from my mom and utilize her dictating, dominating fist to like subject my simps to my whims so that they can support me fiscally, so that I don't need to get a 9 to 5, because getting a 9 to 5 is hard. And also, there's a severe lack of 9 to 5s out there. Are we realizing that? Like, a lot of the jobs that I've applied to, either they don't have 9 to 5 hours, or a lot of them are like 10 to 6. And I'm just like, why do you need 10 to 6? Like, even when I was working at the ACC, that was 10 to 6. And it's like, I can do 5, but, you know, like, class is at 6. And it's just like, why are hours set up in a manner where it's like, night classes are the only option? And that's barely an option, because you're working the entirety of that time that you would have to do anything else. And I don't really want to do that. I would like to do creative means. I guess that's another thing I could get on. Like, finish the commissions I have, even that's complex in this situation, considering all of my things are scattered now, and I don't really have space to work with or energy to work on things. But I also want to paint things and then just put them up for sale. And maybe I could do that. Maybe I could start streaming, even though I don't know what to stream. Maybe I'll just be like one of those real life streamers that just goes live. And then, I don't know, maybe I can film the void that is my need for human connection by just hanging out with random strangers online. And we can have like the bombest parasocial relationship ever, where we just like talk to each other and we're like there for each other, and we just like hang out because we don't have anybody else, because we're like, I don't want to say that we're losers, but like, I don't know. No, we're not losers. It's not us, you guys. A lot of humans suck, and they lie to you about wanting genuine connection, and then they say that they're going to be there for you, but then when you need them, they're too busy, and then they never make time for you, and they never get back to you. So we're not the problem. It's just most humans, and finding good humans is very hard. So we're going to be those humans for each other, and I don't know. Maybe I'll fucking stream on Kick one day. Maybe I'll just randomly go live on Kick. Who knows? Follow me at the Gross Demon. It's like, I don't know if I want to do Twitch. Maybe I'll go live on YouTube, but I don't know if I trust YouTube from all the negative things I hear. Not that I think Kick would be that much better, but definitely not Twitch, considering the guy in charge is very anti-Semitic and unbans horrible, terrible monsters of males. And, you know, Fresh and Fit got unbanned, and I think Sneeko got unbanned on Twitch too, and I think, did Andrew Tate get unbanned on Twitch? I hope not, but some really bad, horrible people that shouldn't have a platform were recently given their platform back. And I'm just like, all the things that are allowed on Twitch doesn't make it seem like a good place to be. But that is a problem for the me that starts streaming. You know? I don't know, there's so much I could do. Like, just exist. Anyway, I'm not gonna drag us on for any longer. I hope you found something useful in that rant about my face. Until next time, Internet Nation, know that you are loved by this guy and this guy, Mini Paimon. He's the only one I have right now that isn't in a bag, aside from maybe Bruce, my giant shark squishmallow that my phone is resting on. Oh, and I guess Lapras, who's up there. And I think there's somebody else up there? No, I don't know. There's a a Domo, a pink Domo up there. And Paimon. Anyway, Anyway, yes, I bring the photo with me, even though I just came for a sleepover. And your point, at least it's not the one in the big frame or the fucking giant ass sigil I have on a block. Anyway, bye. Have a good day.